गोदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिते। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। भजयो जय गौरा चांदे आरती शोभा। जय गौरा चांदे आरती शोभा। भजयो जय गौरा चांदे आरती शोभा। जय गौरा चांदे आरती जानवी ताटवाणी जगमन लोभा। जानवी ताटवाणी जगमन लोभा। जानवी ताटवाणी जगमन लोभा। जानवी ताटवाणी जगमन लोभा। दक्षिणेनी ताईच्या भामी गदाधार। दक्षिणेनी ताईच्या भामी गदाधार। दक्षिणेनी ताईच्या भामी गदाधार। दक्षिणेनी ताईच्या भामी गदाधार। निकटे अद्वैत श्रीनी वास छत्रधार। निकटे अद्वैत श्रीनी वास छत्रधार। निकटे अद्वैत श्रीनी वास छत्रधार। Jaya
We'll sing one short bhajan before we begin. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Vijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada. Jaya 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 Radha Madhava ki, Jaya Shila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.
When I came to know that I have to give class today, so I was trying to listen to different lectures from different Swami Maharaj, and then I was reading verses as well and not coming up to what should I on which verse I should give lecture. Most of the time, as Prabhuji told me that I recite the stories and it's very easy and I really enjoy myself as well and others also enjoy that. So this time I was in dilemma that what should I do? There is no stories this time. So finally I was praying to Srila Prabhupada and God Nitai that something should come in front of me again and again, so I will come to know on which topic I should speak. So continuously, one after one, Bhishma Pitamah stories are coming inside. I was hearing them from one Maharaj, then again it came up from another Maharaj. So I thought, let's go for this one only this time. So I think most of you know about Bhishma Maharaj. I hope so. Is there anyone who do not know about Mahabharata or Bhishma Maharaj? Okay, so I will start and I will tell you a little bit about them so you can connect with them, then who exactly he was, and then you can understand why this verse is here. So I will start with the mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Ajnanam timirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya Bhagavate Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtaki Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamadam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Sadevam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitasha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrashubhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So today I am going to recite a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse number 37. So I will speak this, and after that whoever wants they can also recite. Swanigamam pahaya matpratigya. Can you recite after me? Swanigamam pahaya matpratigya.
Swanigamam pahaya matpratigya.
Mratam adhiktum vapalato rathasthaha.
Mratam adhikartum vapalato rathasthaha.
Dhrataratha charano abhyascha chaladagu.
Dhritarata charana vyayach chalatagur.
Harir eva hantum ibham gato tariya.
Hare eva hantum ibham gato tariya.
Swanigamam pahaya matpratigya.
Swanigamam pahaya matpratigyam.
Matam adhiktum vipalato rathasthaha.
Vritam adhiktum vipalato rathastha.
Dhrataratha charano abhyasta chaladagu.
Dhritarata charana vyayach chalatagur.
Harir eva hantum ibham gati tariya.
Hare eva hantum ibham gato tariya.
Swanigamam pahaya matpratigya.
Swanigamam apahaya matpratigyam.
Matam adhiktum vipalo radhastha.
Ritam adhikartum apavitoratastha.
Dhrataratha charano abhyasta chaladagu.
Dhatarata charana vyayach chalatagur.
Harir eva hantum ibham gato tariya.
Hare eva hantum ibham gato tariya.
If someone else wants to recite, can recite that.
Swanigamam apahayamat pratigyam.
Swanigamam pahaya matra pratigya.
Ritam adikurtum avapluto ratasta.
Mritam adhiktum vapaluto rathastaha.
Dhritarata charano vyayach chaladgur.
Dhritaracharano abhyach chaladagu.
Harir iva hantum ibham gatotariyaha.
Hariya hantum ibham gatotariya.
Swanigamam pahayamat pratigya.
Swanigamapahayamad pratigyam.
Vrutamadhikatumavatluto rathasta.
Avaplutorathastaha.
Dhrutaracharano abhyachaladru.
Dhritarata charano vyayach chaladgur.
Haririva hantumibham gatotariya.
Haririva hantum ibham gatotariya.
Someone else wants to recite that? I will go for the synonyms, word after word. Swanigamam, own truthfulness. Apahaya, for nullifying. Mat pratigya, my own promise. Vratam, factual. Adhi, more. Kratum, for doing. Iti, it. Avapaluto, getting down. Rathastha, from the chariot. Dhrata, taking up. Ratha, chariot. Charanaha, wheel. Abhayata, went hurriedly. Chaladagu, trampling the earth. Harira, lion. Iva, like. Hantum, to kill. Ibaham, elephant. Gata, leaving aside. Gatotariya, uttariya, covering cloth. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Fulfilling my vow and sacrificing his own promise, he got down from the chariot, took up its wheel and ran towards me hurriedly, just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. He even dropped his outer garment on the way. Purport. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought on military principles, but at the same time in the sporting spirit. Like a friend's fight with another friend, Duryodhan criticized Bhishma Deva, alleging that he was reluctant to kill Arjun because of paternal affection. A Kshatriya cannot tolerate insults on the principle of fighting. Bhishma Deva therefore promised that the next day he would kill all 5 Pandavas with special weapon made for the purpose. Duryodhan was satisfied, and he kept the arrows with him to be delivered the next day during the fight. By tricks, Arjuna took the arrows from Duryodhan, and Bhishma Deva could understand that this was the trick of Lord Krishna. So he took the vow that the next day Krishna would have to take up the weapon himself. Otherwise, his friend Arjuna would die. In the next day's fighting, Bhishma Deva fought so violently that both Arjuna and Krishna were in trouble. Arjuna was almost defeated. The situation was so tensed that he was about to be killed by Bhishma Deva the very next moment. At that time, Lord Krishna wanted to please his devotee, Bhishma, by keeping Bhishma's promise, which was more important than his own. Seemingly, he broke his own promise. He promised before the beginning of the battle of Kurukshetra that he would remain without weapons and would not use his strength for either of the parties. But to protect Arjun, he got down from the chariot, took up the wheel of the chariot, and hurriedly rushed at Bhishma Dev. In an angry mood, as a lion goes to kill an elephant, he dropped his covering cloth on the way, and out of great anger, he did not know that he had dropped it. Bhishma Deva at once gave up his weapon and shoot to be killed by Krishna. His beloved Lord, the fighting of the day was thus ended. At that very moment, the Arjun was saved. Of course, there was no possibility of Arjun's death because the Lord himself was on the chariot. But because Bhishma Deva wanted to see Lord Krishna take up some weapon to save his friend, the Lord created the situation, making Arjun's death appear imminent. imminent. He stood before Bhishma Deva to show him that his promise was fulfilled and that he had taken up the wheel. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, this is a chapter going on, the departure of Bhishma Deva. Bhishma Deva was very old at that time. And who was he? Let me give a little bit background so it will be easy to understand. As we all know that Mahabharata fighting was going on in the field. One side was Pandav and the other side was Kaurav. Kaurav were 100 and then many more were there to help them out, many kings and other people. And on the one side was Pandav. So when this was decided that this war will take place, Krishna was at his place, and then Duryodhan was one side and Yudhishthira was on one side. So both the kings, Duryodhan and Yudhishthira, they were going to other kings to meet and bring them towards their side to fight on behalf of them. So in this time period, they decided to go to Krishna as well. So Duryodhan went earlier and Krishna was sleeping in his room. And Duryodhan went and he sat by his head. Instead of sitting in the front, he sat by head. And a little bit late, Arjun also went there to take help from Krishna. And he was sitting in front of Krishna by folded hands near the feet. So when the person is sleeping and when he will open the eyes, first he will see who is at the front. So Krishna, when opened his eyes, he saw Arjuna is sitting in front of him. And then he saw, okay, Duryodhan is also here. So he asked the purpose. He knew, because he is Krishna, he knows he is within everybody. So whatever we are thinking inside, he can understand very well. So he understood that why both of them are here. They need my help. But at the same time, he decided to give the chance to choose first to Arjun. And he said, Duryodhan was upset. He said that I was the first one who came here. So I should get the chance to choose whatever you will offer. Krishna said, okay, on one side I have Ashwarahini Sena. That means his own army. And it was very big army. And on one side I will remain and I take a vow that I will not pick up a weapon. And I will not fight from either side. Not from Pandavas or not from Kauravas. So this was the situation. And then he said that Arjun is younger to Duryodhan. So he can get the first right and I saw him first. So he can take the right, he can choose whether he want to choose the army or he want to choose me without any weapon. So Duryodhan in his mind, he was thinking that I will be in loss now, because he was thinking I will take the whole army and now if Arjun will take the army, then I will in the loss. But Arjun was a great devotee of Krishna. So he folded handly said that Krishna, no matter what, I want you alone. I don't want anything else. Just you be on our side. So Krishna accepted that, and Duryodhan, though he was very happy from inside, but from outside he just showed off, okay, you are younger and you are taking, so it's okay, I give you this privilege and you can take Krishna. So this was the situation here, that Krishna will fight, but he will not, he will be a chariot rider for the Arjun, but he will not fight on behalf of anyone and he will not pick up any weapon. Now the situation was like this, that in this verse, that Bhishma Pitamah was forefather of, how we will say, grandfather of Pandavas and Kauravas, both of them. And he was very affectionate towards Pandavas. Because Pandavas were on always mode of goodness and they always used to do only good things. They were never on the wrong side. They never did any adharma in their life and they suffered a lot. Without father, the mother was widow and she brought them all when they were very young. So it was Bhishma Pitamah who took care of them and they were grew up under his shelter actually. So he has lot of affection towards them. Now this war was going on and Duryodhan was very upset that why you are not killing Pandavas. You should kill Pandavas for me because you are affectionate towards them, so that's why you are partial. You are partial towards them. So you are not on the, you are not fair enough. So this was the situation and he went to him and he was, basically he was blaming him for this thing. So Duryodhan, when he said like this, Bhishma Pitamah was Maharathi. The people who like devotees from India, they know normally we sarcastically call, oh, this Maharathi is coming, in a very negative way. That means Maharathi means, oh, he's a very how should we say that in English? What should be the word for Maharathi? There is no word for Maharathi, but I can explain you what exactly is the meaning of Maharathi. It is given in Mahabharata. When the soldiers are there, when they walk on their legs, that is called Pathi, because they are walking on their legs. Then there is Ardha Rathi. Rath means chariot. When we say Ardh means half and Rathi means chariot. So one horse and one person on top of it, but without any chariot is Ardha Rathi, with a half chariot. Then there comes Rathi. Rathi is with a chariot. So we were like in the Mahabharata, it is described that they were Rathi. Rathi was capable of fighting at one time with 5,000 soldiers. That person used to call Rathi. Then on top of it was Atirathi. Atirathi was a person who was able to fight 12 Rathis. You understood? Rathi who can fight at a time with 5,000. Then Atirathi who can fight with these types of 12 people at the same time. He can handle all of them. If we will turn it into a number, then it will say that 7,20,000 soldiers altogether he can fight at a time. Then on top of it comes Maharathi. Maharathi was the person who can handle these 12 Atirathi at one time. So Bhishma Pitamah was Maharathi, and there were many Maharathi. And on top of them is also one more position, which is Ati Maharathi. Ati means extreme, like Ati, and then Maharathi. And he was able to fight 12 Maharathi altogether. So he was, but it is said that in our all yugas, there was only one Ati Maharathi, and his name was Indrajit. He was son of Ravan. But Maharathis were many. Ramchandraji was there, Lakshman, Sugriva, Jambavan. And then if we will come to Mahabharata, then in Mahabharata, Arjun was there, Bhishma Pitamah was there, Drona was there, Karan was there. So there were many Maharathi at that time. So himself, Bhishma Pitamah was Maharathi. He can handle all this at a time. But he was not killing Pandav. And on top of it, if you know the story, why his name was Bhishma. He was born to Mother Ganga. Ganges we say in English, in Hindi we say Ganga. So he was the son of Ganga Mata. And Shantanu was his father's name. Shantanu, when he went to marry Ganga, when he proposes her, Ganga kept a condition in front of him that whatever I will do, you will not ask me question. I am not supposed to clarify anything. If you will ask any question, and if I have to give you clarification, that particular day I will leave you, I will break my marriage from you, and I will go away. So the situation came that the first boy was born, and Ganga just took up the young baby, and she went to her own shore, Ganges, and she just put the baby in the Ganges river, and the baby was dead. This the Shantanu followed her multiple times. This happened. It happens 7 times. She killed all her 7 kids. This 7th time, when 8th time it happened, it was about to happen. Shantanu couldn't stop himself because he was father. Being a father, his pain was unbearable. So he immediately asked her, "I know that you will leave me, but I want to know why you are doing this." So then she held the baby in the hand, and then she told that, okay, when the time will come, I will bring this baby back to you. But the story behind this is that these kids were 8 Vasus. Vasus were in the heaven, and once these Vasu were roaming around and just looking at the beauty of the garden, one of the Vasus' name was Dishu, and his wife was Divya, something like that name was there. And both of them were like in the forest looking for the beauty of forest, and the wife saw Mother Surabhi. Surabhi was the name of a cow, and she used to be with Vasishtha. So whole stories are coming up.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I end up
Sounds
with
like a
the
story.
stories. So he was there, and when she saw the cow Surabhi, she came to know this is not a normal cow, because she was a desire fulfilling cow. Whatever you will desire to her, she will fulfill immediately. And she got so much attracted, she told her husband that I want this cow, no matter what, we want this cow. So husband told that this is Vasishtha Muni. Vasishtha Muni was guru of Sri Ramchandra ji. He was not a normal rishi. He was very, very high, like mystic powers and all those things were with him. So husband told him this is not the good thing. We should not go for it. But she insisted and she did not listen to him. And so he has to make plan with other 7 brothers. So all 8 Vasus, they went and they tried to steal, and they actually took the cow and brought to their own place. But Vasishtha Muni, as soon he entered his ashram, with his mystic power he came to know who has done this. So he cursed them that you have done such a heinous thing on heaven, you belongs to earth. You should go and stay there only, because these type of characteristics we can only find in humans, so you can understand where we are living right now. So that's what the case. So when this happened, these 8 Vasus, they went and they asked for the forgiveness. Please forgive us for our deed and please do something for us. Somehow Vasishtha Muni, because he was really so rishi himself, so he was compassionate. So he said, okay, you 7 of you, you will only take birth, and within 1 year you all will die. You will die. But the 8th Vasu, because he was the one who planned everything, so he has to suffer. So that 8th Vasu was Bhishma Pitamah. Then this was the condition. And then when Mother Ganga took him to different place.
So Mother Ganga doesn't kill the 8th.
So this was the 8th Vasu, because he has to suffer for his deed. That was the curse given to him. So he stayed a very long life. After that, what happened? That when Mother Ganga took him and all his education and everything was done in like celestial place in the heaven, and he was disciple of Pashuramji. Pashuram himself was incarnation of Vishnu Bhagwan. So he was disciple of Pashuram, and he was very strong and very good fighter. As I told you, he was Maharathi. So what happened? That Shantanu, once he was just roaming around, kings used to go to forest. So he saw a very beautiful girl, and that girl was a fisherman's daughter. Her name was Satyavati. She was extremely beautiful, extremely beautiful. So as soon as Shantanu saw her, he felt like to marry her, and he followed her. So when he followed and reached her father's place, Satyavati came to know that king is following me, Shantanu is following me, and she told her father that the king is outside. So father came outside and saw him, king, and he asked the purpose why you are coming and why you are following my daughter. So he said that I have a proposal, I want to marry your daughter. So Shantanu, when he proposed this thing, father of Satyavati thought that he already have one son, which his name was Devavrat at that time. His name was not Bhishma. He already have one son Devavrat, so he will become the king. Even if my daughter will get married to him, there is no chance that son of both of them can become a king. So he said, if you want to marry my daughter, then you have to promise me that whoever will born with my daughter, he will become the king of your dynasty. Shantanu was not comfortable, like he knew that this is wrong, I cannot do this, only the elder son can become the king. So then he decided that he left that place actually and went back. But he was not happy from inside, because all the time his consciousness was with Satyavati. So then Devvrat came to know about this, and then he asked what exactly has happened, and then he went to the father of Satyavati, and then he requested her father that why don't you take this proposal, why don't you give your daughter to my father. Then he explained everything, that this is the situation, it is up to you now, what do you want to do. So Devrat said, okay, if this is the situation, then I take a vow that I will never marry in my life. First he said that I will not take the kingdom, I will not become king, I promise you. So you accept this proposal and give your daughter to my father. Then he said, as you know that we human, we think very nicely, we think our future ahead. So he thought that, okay, you are saying that you will not become king, but what will happen when you will marry and you will have a son, then he will be eligible to become a king. So that time he was only in teenage and he took a vow that I take a vow throughout my life I will not marry. So this was, in Hindi we call it Bhishma, but in English I really do not know. What should be the word for Bhishma, Prabhu?
Extreme.
Sorry?
Extreme.
You can say like beyond your capacity when you do something, that is called Bhishma. So he took this vow. That day he got the name from Devtas, from the demigods, they gave him name of Bhishma. So that was the name given to him. Then again he said that, okay, you took this vow as well that you will not marry. Now, what will happen if the son born by my daughter and Shantanu is weak? He is not strong. He is not enough. He doesn't have enough strength and enough knowledge to handle the kingdom. Then what will happen? Then he took his third vow that, okay, whoever will sit on this throne, I will be loyal to him only. I will always protect him and I will always fight on his behalf. Now this is the situation where Duryodhan is on the throne and he is fighting, and because of his vow, Bhishma Pita has to fight from his side. Though he knows that Duryodhan is on the wrong side, he is on the irreligious, adharma, and Pandavas are on the dharma side. So this is the situation now, and Duryodhan is blaming him that you are not killing, you are Maharathi. And I missed one point which is very important. When he took this vow, at that time, because Shantanu came to know that my son who is a teenager, I am father, I am enough old, but my son who is teenager, he is taking such a strong vow. So he gave him blessing that I bless you, that you will die on your own desire. No one can kill you. The day you decide that I want to leave this body now, that particular day only you will leave this body. So on top of this, he was Maharathi. He was already on the wrong side, and he has blessings that he will die on his own. He will decide when to leave his body. So now this was the situation, and Duryodhan was putting pressure on him because every day things were changing. So that particular day he said that, okay, I will kill them. If you want, I will kill them. And he picked up 5 arrows. Those were special arrows. They were, in Hindi we say abhimantrit with mantra. Abhimantrit means, if you will see, most of the time we sprinkle water. We recite the mantra in the water, and that water becomes very powerful because of that mantra we we recite into that, and then after that we sprinkle that. So with the mantra they used to bring weapons as well. So Bhishma Pitamah, he chanted the mantra and he got 5 arrows which were very special, each for one of the Pandavas. From internally, though he was saying this thing, in this he said that I will kill them. But I was listening to the lecture of Bhakti Brihad Bhagavad Goswami Maharaj. He was giving this lecture in India, in Bombay, in Radha, what is the name of the temple? Radha Gopinath Mandir. So I heard this lecture from him, and there he said that though he said that I will kill them, but he was not true to Duryodhan. He was not true. He knew that Krishna is on the side of Pandava. And from internally he had a feeling that I cannot kill them. How I can kill them? They are my child and they are on the right place. They are on religious place. They are fighting for religion. So internally he was not ready for that, but he said that, okay, I will do that. Now Duryodhan was a crooked mind person, so he didn't believe Bhishma Pitamah. He knew that he will not do it. So he said that, these 5 arrows I will take with me. Bhishma Pitamah said, okay, go ahead, you can take it. So he took and he went to his tent. When there used to be fight in old days, there used to be principles. After fighting during the daytime, at the night they will meet each other. In the evening they will go, and there will be no ill feeling in their heart towards each other. And if a younger will go to elder, he will do pranam, he will give obeisances, and the elder has a full right, and he used to give blessings even though they were fighting with each other. So when Krishna knew this, so Krishna called Arjun and said that tomorrow is a very hard day. So you go to Duryodhan and you have to ask him for those 5 arrows. Arjun was looking at face and he said, okay, I will go. Now, there are 2 stories behind this as well, story after story. When Pandavas were in exile for 13 years, at that particular time, Duryodhan was trying to tease him or make them jealous all the time. So what he did, he went to the forest to make a picnic, to have picnic with his friends and with his army as well. Army was with him. But there was Gandharva from celestial place, heaven. They were very good in singing, and so they were also reciting at that particular park where they went. Duryodhan went, and then he had some quarrel with them. And what happened that Gandharv, they made him they captured him, and even the army was captured. So when the king is captured, then army cannot do anything. So in this situation, somebody told Yudhishthir Maharaj, and Yudhishthir Maharaj was nearby. That's why Duryodhan went there to make them feel jealous. That see, we are celebrating, and you are moving you are roaming like a beggar, place to place. So Duryodhan was in this situation. He was captured, and Yudhishthir came to know. But Yudhishthir was Dharmaraj. He was himself was Yamraj. Yamraj, I hope you know about Yamraj. Most of you know. He is a demigod of death. Whenever we will leave this body, the soul will go and stand in front of him only. So he is Yamraj. So Yudhishthir was putra of son of Dharma. So when he came to know, he told Arjun and Bhim, go and save Duryodhan and fight with them or whatever you want to do, but save, free him from their capture, whatever it is. So they were upset about this, that we are suffering because of Duryodhan, still you are sending us there. But they went because Yudhishthir was elder brother, whatever he will say, they have to obey. So they went and they freed him. It was very shameful situation for Duryodhan. Anybody who is in that situation will very ashamed of himself. So out of his pride, he was very pride person. So out of his pride, he said, this time you ask for some boon, I can give you something. You ask for something. Arjun, you can ask. Arjun said, it's okay, I don't want anything. He said, but you keep my word. In the future, if you will need something, ask me. I will give this to you. This way, he was satisfying his own self-pride and ego. So now this was the situation when Krishna remind Arjun that go and ask for the arrows now. This is the time now. So Arjun went there and then he went there and he did pranam. So Duryodhan thought that, oh, you are here today. So why you are here? Do you want to stop the fight? You just say once from your mouth that I don't want this fight, and immediately I will give up and we will not fight anymore. Arjun said, no, I'm not here for that. Now fight is going on. But you are my elder brother, and he just bowed down and he did pranam because he was supposed to do that. And he said that I need blessing that I should win this in this war. This was the situation. Now Duryodhan did not know what should I say. If I say yes, I have blessings that you win, then why am I fighting? So he was sitting there and then he said, okay, you know what? You ask for something else. Anything you will ask, I will give you. So then Arjun said, okay, then give me those 5 arrows. And he took the 5 arrows and then he came out. Now, when Bhishma Pitamah came to know this is the situation where Krishna has done everything very cleverly, he has solved all the problem. I am not supposed to kill anyone, though he was happy from inside. But because he was in that situation and he was from the other party, he said, Krishna, I took a vow to kill Pandavas, 5 Pandavas, and you broke my vow, so now I will break your vow. And what was the vow of Krishna? Can someone tell?
We will not fight.
Yeah.
So that was the vow. If you will go to India, you will see one poster is very common in India, and it's a beautiful poster. From the childhood I have been seeing that poster, that Arjuna is holding 1 feet of Krishna and Krishna is without his Uttariya means you have seen when the Swami Maharaj come, they have a cloth on the side that is called Uttariya. It is very important cloth. It is a sign of something. It's not like this only. So that Uttariya is also not there, and he is holding a wheel of a chariot in his hand to kill Bhishma Pitamah. And Arjuna is trying to hold very tightly. He is holding the 1 feet of Krishna to stop him, that because of me, please don't break your vow. The whole world will say that Krishna has taken one vow and he has broken that. But in this purport, as when I was reading that, you must have listened to it, that Srila Prabhupada is saying that Krishna broke his vow because of his 2 devotees. Both devotees. On one side was Arjun himself, and on other side was Bhishma Pitamah. Bhishma Pitamah took vow that I will make Krishna to pick up his weapon, any weapon against me. And that has happened. So that particular day, Bhishma Pitamah fought very vigorously, like he was shooting arrow after arrow, arrow after arrow. And Arjun was not even able to hold his Gandiva. Gandiva was the bow, the name of the bow of Arjun. That was a very strong bow, but he was not even able to hold it properly because arrows were coming. And the situation came when Krishna knows any time now Bhishma Pitamah can kill Arjun. At that time, he jumped out of his rath, his chariot, and he ran and he threw his Uttariya. His cloth was also on the floor, and he started fighting with even Bhishma Pitamah was not hesitate to throw arrows towards Krishna. Krishna was also in the wounds. All his chest, the blood was dripping out. So in other verse, this verse is 37. When we will read more, you all can go and read if you will be interested in that. It is very beautifully explained that Krishna himself was blue in color, and his curly hairs were there. And because of that fight, the sweating was coming because he was trying to save, he was charioteer. So he was moving chariot here and there, left and right. Sometimes he will make it low, sometimes he will make it high. So that was the situation, and he was sweating. The wounds were there on his body. The blood was coming out, and the particle of dust which was with the horse, when horse will go on the leg, they will run on the war. The sand will very fine dust was blowing up, and it was all over his curly hairs. It's very beautifully described here. So this was the situation. He picked up the chariot, the field, and he was about to hit Bhishma Dev. But Bhishma Dev was his own devotee. Immediately he left everything, and with the hands like this, he stand in front of Krishna that, come and please kill me. I am here for you. That's what is explained here. Now, Srila Prabhupada in New York in 1969 gave lecture on this verse. Maharaj was telling about that thing. In that lecture, Prabhupada was telling about Bhishma Pitamah, but he was telling about himself as well. That most of the time when we are in devotional service, or devotional service is I can say, but even in our life, when we are in this life, when we are living this life, every day we struggle with different things, and we have some goal and we want to achieve it. So Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada was saying that when my Gurudev gave me the instruction that you should go and preach in the Western world, because you have a very good English, you are well educated, so you should go and you should preach in Western, West. So Srila Prabhupada said that I thought that I shall make money first. I shall make money and I shall become rich. After becoming rich only, I shall go and preach. So he said that I kept on working very hard, and he worked very hard throughout his life in that particular period, and he achieved what he was thinking. He was he has a very good name. He has lots of money. He was running a pharmacy, and his pharmacy was very famous. So he was doing very nice. But Srila Prabhupada, in this also he said that Krishna is very tricky. So he did something, and because of that he lost everything, and then he left his house as well, and he took sannyas and he came to Vrindavan. And in this situation, Srila Prabhupada was saying that I went through so much pain, so much trouble, so much obstacles to come to the West. Just to come to the West and to write this Bhagavatam and all those things, he went through many problems. Out of them, in that particular lecture, he mentioned that once he was on the street of Delhi. Delhi is a near place to Vrindavan. So he was going there to publish one magazine which was Back to Godhead. He used to work on that at that time. A bull came from somewhere and bull thrashed him on the floor, like on the street. And Prabhupada was wounded and he was on the street without anyone. He was alone, lying down. Nobody came there to pick him for some time. And at that time, Prabhupada said in that lecture, I was really thinking that what is this going on? Why I am suffering like this? It was bitter truth, he said, but I was taking it. And then someone came from somewhere, and then this was the only one situation. This was not the only one situation actually. Multiple times, every step Srila Prabhupada suffered, and I think he wrote all the Bhagavatam, and then it was sold by his wife just for tea or something. Right, Prabhu? What was that?
All these notes were actually given to
Gita?
Gita also. Many things was written down. It was exchanged for money. The paper value.
So can you imagine the whole Gita he has written, and that Gita was not with him. So he wrote it again. So multiple times this has happened. So Srila Prabhupada said, in our life also we will get many obstacles. But then he said that when I came here in the Western world, he came up with 7 rupees, something like that. He was saying $7, something like that. And then he started laughing in that lecture. And he said that this Swami came with only $7 like a pauper. And now people criticize me that he has become so opulent. Because at that time he had many temples and hundreds of disciples. And then on other place he said that these disciples are very nice disciples. They take care of me like anything. They follow me. And he said they all are my son. I left only few son at back with my wife. Now I have many sons. And then he laughed on one place and he said all of them are without wife. So he had many disciples. Then he said that now I realized that Krishna was always protecting me. He has a higher purpose. I went through all this, but I always have faith that Krishna is with me. Krishna is always protecting me. And then he recited one verse which is given in Gita. It is from chapter 9, verse number 31. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shanti nigachati kaunteya prati janihi name bhaktah pranashanti. Priti janahi means declare. In this let me read the translation. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace, O son of Kunti. Declare it boldly, that my devotee never perishes. He asked Arjun. In the Gita, this shlok is given in the chapter 9th chapter and 31 verse. Here it is saying, you declare. Krishna himself is not declaring. Maharaj was saying that what can be the reason why he didn't declare himself. I am also asking this question to you now. Why do you think Krishna was reciting whole Gita? He was telling whole Gita to Arjun. Why he did not say that I declare that my devotee will not perish. Why he asked Arjun that you declare?
Because he was just wanted to give it like an example, or just to be make him a great devotee, because he didn't want himself to be more popular. He just wanted a medium to be Arjun, just to let other people know that.
Good answer, Prabhuji, but not the answer I'm looking for.
Krishna might break his own words, but never his devotees' words.
That was the answer given by one of the young devotee who was sitting in the assembly of Maharaj. He was hardly, I think, 16 years old when I was able to see him in the video. He was wearing tilak and everything. He gave this answer which Prabhuji gave. That because Krishna can break his vow anytime. But if the vow is given by devotee, then definitely Krishna always protect them. So that's why here he said that Arjun, you declare that whoever will come towards me and doing devotional service, declare boldly that my devotee never perishes. This was the statement. So Srila Prabhupada said, and Maharaj also said, that where is the problem? When we come towards the Krishna, we just take one step, Krishna take 10 steps towards you. Then one question arises that one of the young devotee, he asked a question that, okay, you are saying Maharaj, we surrender unto Krishna, and in the last verse also it comes that Sarva Dharma Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So we will surrender and we will take his sharan. But it is artificially, it is from outside only. It is not from within. From the heart we are not surrendering unto him. So how to understand this thing? So Maharaj said that as soon as you surrender to Krishna, let me just read that thing, maybe. In this verse it says, Sarva Papa Aham Mokshayami. Sarva Papa. Krishna is saying, when you surrender to me, I will take all your sinful reactions. I will take them away. So the devotee's question was that how I can surrender within the heart. From the heart I will surrender. So he said that as soon as you say, Krishna, I am yours, immediately Krishna takes all your sinful reactions and put in a separate account. You don't have to suffer for those like sinful actions. And then he keep them aside. But when you are doing a devotional service or you are giving service to devotees and in temple, at that time Krishna is watching you. And as soon as a little thought comes to your mind that this surrender is too much, I should take little back now, I should do something else, Krishna will pull out your reaction, sinful reaction, and immediately give you little bit out from that. If you have to suffer 100% because of that sinful activity, whatever you have done, Krishna will give you only 5%. So you can bear that, and immediately you come back on the line and come towards him. So when you surrender, Krishna is more happy and he help you out more to come close to him. I am not saying this. Maharaj was saying this. So no, words are not like, I'm just speaking in my language, but Maharaj was giving this answer. So this was the thing, and one of Srila Prabhupada's disciple, he couldn't understand this. So he asked Srila Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, I am not able to understand. On one side you are saying that Bhishma Pitamah is fighting from enemy side. And on one side you are saying that he is a devotee, and because of the devotee, Krishna has broken his vow. So how it is like, I am not able to understand. And this devotee who loves his Lord is throwing arrow towards him and hurting him, and blood is coming out. So what type of action is this, and what type of relationship is this? I am not able to understand. Srila Prabhupada told him that, see, when there are two friends and fight together, sometimes we know even childs, they really don't fight, but out of they are playing together actually. And at that time, each of them will think the second person should be defeated immediately, and they are relishing it. There is no enemy or ill feeling towards them, and they really enjoy it. And I know in the army, when this like a person takes his whole like training, and when he went there for the first time he joined there, all of them will take him on the shoulders, but at the same time they will beat him as well. And he will not take it in an ill way, that they are beating me, they are hitting me hard or something like that. Out of love and affection, they do it, and they make him solid. When you will go to if you will in the war, in case if you get in hand of enemy, you should be ready. You should have enough strength to face them. So Srila Prabhupada was also saying the same thing, that this is looking like a fight, but it is not a fight. Krishna is relishing this fight with his devotee, and as soon as Krishna picked his chariot wheel, he gave up. Bhishma Pitamah gave up, and he relished that thing. At this time, when I am reciting this verse, this time Bhishma Pitamah is on arrows. He is lying on a bed of arrows, and Yudhishthira was very upset. After the war was over and Yudhishthira was the winner, Pandavas won it, and Bhishma Pitamah was on arrows, multiple arrows. There was not even a single place on his body where the arrow was not there. That was the situation where he was lying, and Yudhishthira was very upset that because of me so many people killed, and there are many widows and many kids without parents, and how I am going to sit on this throne and take this kingdom, and how I am going to do all this. He was he was more like thinking every day like that, and everybody like Arjun, Bhim, they all tried to convince him that this is the result, and you are the right person to sit on this throne. But Yudhishthira was not convinced. This was the situation where Krishna wanted Yudhishthira Maharaj and all Pandavas to go and sit in front of Bhishma Pitamah and take and learn from him how to be a king, how to be a father, how to be a brother, everything. At that time, he took Yudhishthira Maharaj to Bhishma Pitamah, and in that situation, Yudhishthira Maharaj, one after one, he asked all the questions. This is a complete chapter in Bhagavatam, and in Mahabharata it is in an elaborated way. You can read the questions and answers. In that he gave the answers of each and everything. What is the dharma of a lady? Dharma means the, how you will say that in English, Prabhu? Duty. Prescribed duty of ladies, prescribed duty of king, prescribed duty of the brothers, prescribed duty of physician, prescribed duty of merchant. Each and every question which is related to us was asked in that assembly, and not only Pandavas were there were many rishis at that time present there, and even Devatas were there. In that situation, when Bhishma Pitamah kept on giving the answers of the all questions, and by the end he stopped, because he knew, as I told you, that he knew when he is supposed to leave the body. So the sun was in the right situation at that time, and Bhishma Pitamah knew this is the time for me to leave the body. Immediately he stopped telling and answering all the questions, and he started looking towards Krishna, and he started telling what exactly he think about him and what were the leelas, the pastimes Krishna has with him. This is the particular leela when he was saying that at that time on the war, you were in front of me in this situation, you broke your vow. So here he is reciting that out of love and affection. Now he is glorifying Lord. So this is the thing. Now I cannot see the time.
It's 6:45.
So hardly 15 more minutes,
15
Prabhu, right?
minutes, yeah, 10-15 minutes.
Yeah. So more, I don't have anything else, but I would like to say one more thing. That Maharaj said that, there is a Juhu temple in Bombay. That was a big project for Srila Prabhupada. And that particular project, we can say, Maharaj said that it is like a small Mahabharat for ISKCON, for Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada that time requested Giriraj Maharaj, because Giriraj Maharaj was the president of that temple. He requested him to write down a book on this, whatever they faced, obstacles and everything, a small Mahabharat type of book. He requested Giriraj Maharaj, someone, he didn't say Giriraj Maharaj, he said someone should write down a book on this whenever they get time. So this book is out now, and the name is I Will Build You a Temple. It is by Giriraj Maharaj, and even Bhakti Brahad Maharaj was also, he has also something, he has also written some part of it. So he was telling about this book. And in that book, there was a small example which Maharaj was reading from this particular book, and he said, please purchase this. Though when this book was being published, the paper cost was going very up. We know in COVID, the paper is, I think, triple or something like that. The cost is very high. And because the paper cost was very high, the cost of the book also went very high. But still Maharaj said, I want everybody to read this, so they are keeping it very minimum, some 1,000 rupees, something like that. So in that he was telling he was reading one incident from that Giriraj Maharaj was very young, and he was president at that time of that temple. That temple was not there actually. It was going the case was going on in a court. So Maharaj was only, I wrote it somewhere, it was, I think he was only 24 years old at that time. And he went in the court, and he was sitting in this, Nair was the person who was fighting against ISKCON. He was also in the court, and he was very, very powerful person at that time in the Bombay. It was becoming very difficult and every day he was giving some obstacles, and it was very hard time for the devotees, Srila Prabhupada and everybody. So Giriraj Maharaj went to the court, and he was sitting on a chair, and the advocate who was from the side of ISKCON was also friend of Mr. Nair, and he was also giving favor to him. This was the situation, and purposely that advocate made Giriraj Maharaj to sit with a lady. She was sitting on left side of the Maharaj. Maharaj was not comfortable. He was in celibacy. He was brahmachari. He was sitting there, and this was the plan. And what that lady was doing, she was sitting, and all of a sudden she started touching the feet of Maharaj. She started touching the legs of Maharaj, and Maharaj was in a very awkward situation. He was very young at that time, and he thought that, and he said that I was not able to control myself, and I was ready to give up at a moment. But then Maharaj wrote this, so I think we all should read this book, that what was the situation, how our Sannyasi Maharaj suffered for us. Just we can sit in this temple and we can chant Hare now. It was not that easy. So Maharaj was saying that I was ready to give up, because he is also human. Senses are very strong. Maya is very strong. So Maharaj said, but immediately I thought that if I will give up at this moment, this will be a weak point for our organization, my Srila Prabhupada. I love more than me to my Srila Prabhupada. My Prabhupada, I love him like anything. I should be really strong. I have to handle this. And that was the situation. And it was pre-planned. This was a small thing Maharaj read. And I was hesitant before whether I should recite, I should speak in front of you. But then I thought, if a sannyasi Maharaj is saying in a temple in front of Mataji's and Prabhuji, then why can't I say? So this was the situation, and then Maharaj stood up, and then he controlled the situation, and he came out. And then later on also they came to know that that lady was prostitute. And Srila Prabhupada also came to know about this situation, that this has happened. And that lady was following Maharaj for a couple of months in the temple, and Maharaj was trying to avoid that lady for a long time. This was a very small incident, Maharaj said. There were many more. So this is a small Mahabharat, and Maharaj said that please, I request all of you to read that book, purchase that book and read. So that will make you realize that how much our senior devotees and Sannyasi Maharaj has suffered for us, just to bring us into the shelter of Gaur Nitai and Srila Prabhupada. And here I will stop. If I have committed some mistake, I ask for forgiveness. All glories to Bhakti Brihad Bhagavad Goswami Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Alright, so we have a couple of minutes now. Just wanted to see if maybe devotees have any questions or reflections. If you're on Zoom following us, then there's a little reactions button at the bottom, so you can raise your hand. And if you're in the temple, you can raise your hand. And we'd like to hear from you. Anybody?
We have questions from online.
Online, okay.
Mataji Shila has a question. Mataji Shila, you can unmute and ask.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for such a profound lecture. It was very effective. My question is, when you said what are the prescribed duties for every family member, can you please expand on that? Or also please, if you can give reference where we can go back and read about that.
Definitely, Mataji. I will ask Prabhuji and Roni Priya Prabhu or maybe Keshavanand Prabhu, and they can send me the reference and I can forward this to the WhatsApp group where you can read, where you can go and read about those question and answers. They are in a very elaborate way, and yes, we can learn lots of things from that. So tomorrow only I will try to find out and I will put on WhatsApp group.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for bringing the entire Kurukshetra in visuals in front of our eyes. We could really feel that. And when you said that we should not love ourselves much, we should, beyond that there is Krishna's love. At that thought, we can stop ourselves from doing sense gratification, that I should think more about Krishna. I will love more about Krishna, Srila Prabhupada and Gaur Nitai. Thank you for giving me this thought. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. This thought belongs to Maharaj.
Just a little bit of clarification on what you just mentioned, that yes, and finally when everything was over, Prabhupada said that was a good fight and someone should have read book about that. Because so much struggle is very planned, and this particular person, Mr. Nair, has cheated so many people, promising the land to many, many different people, taking advance money from them and cheating on them, everyone. But in front of Krishna, he could not. He was defeated.
Yeah, that's why Srila Prabhupada said, Maharaj said that this is like a mini Mahabharata.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions, additions? We have one more.
I have one very complex philosophical question. What does Pitamah mean?
Sorry?
Pitamah.
Pitamah is father of father.
Grandfather.
Yes.
Grandfather Bhishma.
Grandfather. So Bhishma Pitamah was there, then Shantanu was there, then there was Chitravirya and Vichitravirya, who were supposed to be father of Pandavas actually, but because of illness and some other things, they died earlier. So there was no son in their dynasty at that time. So after that, Vyasdevji, because of him, and that is a long story, so I will not go into it. But because of them, Pandu was born. Pandav was born. Pandu, Raja Pandu, king, and then Dhritarashtra was born, and then Vidura was born. 3 of them was born, and from them comes Pandu and Kaurav. So now you can see the situation. Bhishma Pitamah and all these kids are under him. So that's why his Pitamah means father of like. It is coming like that probably.
Thank you, Aya Prabhu, for your deep philosophical question.
Even I was scared.
Thank you, Mother Sushma. Let's give a round of applause for our speaker. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Krishna
Paramahamsa Pariyuja Jaya Sushma Mataji, His Divine Grace,